grand hall of eternal flames stretched impossibly high, its vaulted ceiling disappearing into drifting smoke and shadow. Massive pillars of obsidian lined the crimson marble floor, each carved with the legendary deeds of dragon lords long dead. At the far end of the hall sat Emperor Veyroth Ignasar, upon a throne of molten gold that never cooled. He was ancient beyond measure. His scales shimmered like dying stars, and his eyes burned like twin furnaces that had watched entire civilizations rise and fall into dust. Today, those ancient eyes were fixed on a single figure, a small, unremarkable human girl. Lra Dawnfall stood alone in the center of the hall. Her worn leather boots squeaked softly against the polished stone. She was only 17 standard years old. Her hands carried the calluses of a forge worker, and her brown hair was tied back in a simple braid. Among the assembled dragons, each in elegant humanoid form, wrapped in silks and jewels worth planetary fortunes, she looked like a sparrow standing among phoenixes. "Explain yourself, human." Veyroth's voice thundered through the hall like distant storms. "You dare interrupt the ceremony of ascension with accusations of fraud?" The gathered nobles hissed in outrage, smoke curling from their nostrils. To the left of the throne stood a crystal pedestal. Resting upon it was the Codex Primordial, the first and most sacred book of dragon law, written by Emperor Veyroth himself 3,000 years ago. Today, it was meant to be authenticated before the Galactic Antiquities Council before its placement in the Universal Museum. Lra's hands trembled, but her voice remained steady. "With respect, Your Imperial Majesty, that codex is a forgery." The hall exploded in chaos. Dragons roared, their forms flickering between humanoid and reptilian shapes in pure outrage. Lord Kitharon, master of the treasury, slammed his fist against a pillar hard enough to crack the obsidian. "Insolence," he roared. "The human whelp seeks to humiliate us before the galaxy." "Silence." The Emperor's single word struck the room like a physical force. Every noble dropped to their knees instantly. Everyone, except Lra. She swayed slightly but remained standing. Veyroth's burning eyes narrowed. "You are Lra Dawnfall, daughter of Marcus Dawnfall, the human calligrapher who served my court for 30 years. "Yes, Your Majesty. Your father was one of the finest scribes in the Empire. He died defending this very codex when raiders attacked the Imperial archives." The Emperor leaned forward, his immense presence casting Lra in shadow. "And now you dishonor his memory with lies? I honor his memory with truth." Lra pulled a worn journal from her satchel. "My father spent the last 10 years of his life studying the Codex Primordial. He taught me everything he knew about ancient draconic script, binding methods, ink composition. Before he died, he made me promise I would continue his research." "Research?" Lady Sharinx, keeper of histories, stepped forward. Her silver eyes gleamed with curiosity. "What research could a human possibly conduct that our greatest scholars have not?" Lra slowly approached the pedestal. Every instinct screamed at her to stop, but she didn't. "May I examine it, Your Majesty?" The hall fell completely silent. Touching the codex without permission meant instant death. But for reasons even he did not fully understand, Emperor Veyroth gestured once. Permission granted. Lra carefully hovered her hands over the ancient tome. "The binding is perfect," she said quietly. "Authentic dragon hide from the Twilight Age. Preserved flawlessly." She gently opened the book and inhaled. "The ink is genuine as well. Crushed starstone mixed with volcanic ash. The exact formula dragons used before synthetic compounds were invented." "Then what is wrong?" Lord Kitharon demanded. Lra pointed to a single character on the first page. "The words." She traced the symbol. "This character is written in Hydrionic script, circa 1700 Old Imperial. But the codex was supposedly written in 1520 Old Imperial." Lady Sharinx rushed forward to examine the page. "That difference is impossible." "It isn't," Lra said calmly. "This specific stroke didn't exist yet. It wasn't added to the language until 200 years later during the script reformation." Lra flipped through more pages. "Here, this grammatical structure didn't exist at the time. And here, this metaphor references the 3 moons of Kiraz, but that system wasn't even colonized until 300 years later." The dragons began murmuring nervously. Then Lra stopped at a single ornate passage. The hall froze. Emperor Veyroth slowly rose from his throne and descended the steps toward her. The full weight of his age and power radiated from him. "What did you say?" he asked quietly. Lra swallowed. My father was commissioned 20 years ago to restore damaged pages after a fire in the archives. His reproductions were flawless. Her voice trembled slightly, but someone replaced the entire codex with his reproductions. A stunned silence filled the hall. Someone who knew the difference wouldn't be noticed for decades, maybe centuries. Someone who wanted the real codex for themselves. Veyroth reached past her and lifted the book with his clawed hand. He examined it slowly. For 3,000 years, he had believed he knew every word inside it. But now he truly looked. The color drained from his scales, fading to ash gray. "By the first flame," he whispered. Lord Kithaeron stepped forward, his face pale. "Your Majesty, if the human is correct." "She is correct." Veyroth closed the codex gently. "I wrote these words myself 3,000 years ago. I knew every phrase, every inflection." He looked down at Lra with something close to awe. "But I have not truly read them in centuries. I remembered what should be there, not what was." "How did you see what we could not?" he asked softly. Lra met his ancient gaze without fear. "Because I'm human, Your Majesty. We don't live for millennia. We don't have the luxury of assuming tomorrow will be the same as yesterday." She held up her father's journal. "We have to pay attention while we can. And my father taught me that truth matters more than comfort, even when that truth is terrifying." The Emperor remained silent for a long moment. Then slowly he bowed his head. It was a gesture of respect he had not given to anyone in 1,000 years. "The human girl is correct." His voice dropped into a dangerous growl. "We have been robbed by someone within my own court." The dragons erupted into alarmed whispers. "Find the real codex," Veyroth commanded. "Find the thief." Then he looked back at Lra. "And you, Lra Dawnfall, will lead the investigation. Your father gave his life protecting a forgery. You have honored him by exposing it." As the hall burst into frantic activity and dragons rushed to begin the hunt, Lra allowed herself a small trembling smile. Somewhere she hoped her father was watching. Even the mighty could be fooled. But the truth, spoken by even the smallest voice, would always matter. Always. Please follow my channel for more videos. One click from you can change my life.